only few questions, okay, now because we have to complete the chapter that we have left. So this is a chapter from question from the chapter conservation of plants and animals, okay, and this is question from the chapter materials, metals, and non-metals, which only Chakrika you will be required to do, okay, now. So I will be sharing the screenshot in the chat
Yes, sir.
box, so only you will be doing it, okay, now.
Yes, sir.
Others start from here, and you also will be starting from here, but we have to do that one as well, okay, Chakrika?
So should we answer in chat box or should we write it?
There are some questions in which will be required to define also, okay, na? So do one
Okay.
thing, the multiple choice questions, answer it in the chat box, and like question number 2, write the definition in a sheet of paper, and you can upload it in the chat box, and you can send it to the team, okay.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes,
I have a doubt for conservation of plants and animals.
yeah, go on.
Actually, in my review, my teacher had asked the fauna of Pachmari Biosphere Reserve, but I had written the endemic fauna, so she deducted marks for that. Is that like endemic species of Pachmari Biosphere Reserve and the normal one is different?
Panchmani Biosphere Reserve and off.
The endemic species of Pachmari Biosphere Reserve, the fauna.
Yeah.
And the normal ones, are they two different things?
Yeah, actually, the endemic species and the normal species are kind of different. Endemic species are those species of organisms that are found in a particular area only. So, for example, if the question was from the Panchmari Biosphere Reserve, you had to write down the names of endemic species from Panchmari Biosphere Reserve, right?
Yes, sir.
So there you have so many, like we have learned about bison, right now. Endemic species of Panchmani Biosphere Reserve was like bison was there. We had the giant squirrel. We have the flying squirrel. Remember? So those
Yes,
will
sir.
be the examples of the endemic species of Panchmani Biosphere Reserve. But when we talk about, for example, flora and fauna, so it will be in general any given example of plant will be of flora. Any given example of fauna of animal will be fauna. Getting it now? So that is the case. Okay, now.
Yes, sir.
By the way, can you list down the names of endemic species in Panchmari Biosphere Reserve?
Flying squirrel and Indian giant squirrel and bison.
Bison. Okay, now we have some other examples. In the case of flora, what about the flora? These were the fauna. We have the wild mango, remember?
Yes, sir.
And
Silver fern.
silver fern and sal tree, SAL. 1 minute. Sal tree, remember? Sal tree, mango, silver fern. These are the endemic flora of the Panchmari Biosphere Reserve. Okay, now. Okay. Let's see what Chikrika has answered for the first one. Yeah, that is correct. All of you would be required to answer in the chat box. Okay.
So on which ID we have to answer?
On this one. Hope everyone can find this ID in the chat box.
Okay, sir.
So for the fourth one, can there be multiple answers or only one?
Yeah, there can be multiple answers.
So can I write all of them or only one?
You can write the most appropriate one. The one that is most appropriate according to the question.
Okay.
And all of you.
What
Yes,
are we
hi.
doing? Because I joined now.
Okay. Is that you, Abdullah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just like we did some questions in the previous class, today also we are doing some questions. Okay, na? But I have taken only few questions today. Okay, na? So we'll be continuing with the chapter as well in the batch. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you are required to answer in the chat box. Okay.
Okay, sir. These are all questions.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And like for question number 2, if your answer is going to be long, Okay, na? So then you can share the picture to the team, and from them I will be getting it. Okay, na?
Okay, sir.
Hmm. Yes, Khadija, your answers are correct, but the term biodiversity, you can elaborate it more further. Okay, na? Plus, how it is important for the ecosystem. Okay, na? Like you have to define biodiversity and as well as explain its importance in the ecosystem.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. And everyone turn their cameras on in the class. Yes, there are students who still haven't answered this. Only Khadija and Chakrika and Gauri, you also have answered it. For the first one, yeah, that is correct. For the third one, yeah, good. This is position. So,
So can I start answering the metals and non-metals?
yeah, sure.
Yes.
Ecosystem of a particular place you should be saying, Chakrika. Okay, na?
Yes. Sir.
Hmm. Plus, you have to talk about the variation in the life form. You guys have to discuss about the variety of the life form also. Gauri, you are saying biodiversity is defined as a different types of living organism from different marine and other ecosystem. It is important because it maintains ecological and economical balance. Economical balance, not economical balance, but ecological balance only. Okay, no? See, what we have learned about biodiversity is made out of two words: biodiversity. Bio refers to, what does the word bio refer to, guys? Yes, Khadija, Abdullah, Chikrika. Yeah, it refers to life, right? And diversity refers to variation or the variety. So biodiversity is referred to as it's the variety of different living organism on earth. That will include the plants, that will include the microorganisms, animals, plus the environment, the ecosystem in which they are living. So biodiversity refers to the variety of living organisms on earth. That will include different plants, animals, microorganisms, and the ecosystem within which they will be living. Plus, how are they important? Like they, like for example, flora forms part of the ecosystem, and flora are important as they are provider of oxygen and food. So they will be maintaining the food chain, right now. To maintain the food chain, to ensure the supply of food and oxygen, biodiversity is important. Plus, biodiversity provides us with so many natural resources Getting it, no? That is one thing. Like we are getting different kind of fiber from the forest, food. We are getting wood that we are using as a fuel. We are getting medicinal plants from the forest. So the biodiversity provides us with so many resources. That is one thing. So our human needs are being met by the biodiversity, whether it be the food security, whether it be wood that will be used to either as a fuel or will be used to make paper, etc. Okay, na? That is one thing. Plus, it maintains the ecological balance, and it also maintains the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide gas in the air. So we see that biodiversity is important in several ways. Okay. Shigrika, for the first, okay, you're answering the second. For the first one, you have answered, Abdullah, yeah, to maintain biodiversity, right? So for those of you who have answered that to maintain biodiversity and protect ecosystem, that is correct. Define biodiversity, some of you have defined it very well. Okay, now it is important to talk about the variation in the life form when we define biodiversity. Habitat destruction is one of the leading causes of species extinction. Exactly, it is. The practice of protecting natural areas and wildlife, often through the establishment of, it could be wildlife sanctuary, it could be biosphere reserve, anyone would be true. Whether you write wildlife sanctuary or biosphere reserve, these will be the appropriate answer to this. Okay, now these questions are meant to be only done by Chakrika. Like she's only having the chapter materials, metals, and non-metals. Okay, others can continue from here. Which of the following is an example of a contact force? Not everyone is answering in the chat box. We cannot have the ecosystem. The air we breathe and food we eat. Biodiversity is known as. See, biodiversity is not known as environment, Abdullah. Okay, na? You have written without animals, plant, microorganisms, we cannot have healthy ecosystem. Yeah, that is true. The air we breathe and food we eat, we are getting it from the biodiversity. Okay. Biodiversity is different from environment. Okay, now biodiversity is basically it refers to the variety of life on earth that will include plants, animals, and microorganisms, along with the habitat, along with the ecosystem in which they will be inhabiting, in which they will be living. So the first one, Gauri, have answered. Yeah, that is correct. Yes, Sony and Gauri, your answers are correct. Yeah, in short, define about pressure. You can define about pressure in short and explain how it is calculated. Very good, Gauri. That is correct. So how do we calculate pressure? You guys answer this. By the way, let me review you. Like previously also in the previous class, some of you shared the sheets to me. Okay, na? Like I have received from Gauri and Abdullah, you did also share it. Just let me tell you where you guys did mistake in that. Okay, na? For Shakrika and Khadija, it was discussed in the class, but two students were left. And did you guys got the PDF of the sheet or not?
Yes, sir, we got it.
Got it? Good. Actually, just I'm going through it.
So, sir,
Yes.
I have a doubt in the fourth one.
In the fourth question, from materials, metals, and non-metals, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just let me open that. 1 minute. Fourth question is the process of combining metals with other elements to improve their property. Yeah. What is that process? Try to recall this. Remember, can you like what the question is saying, that it's the process of combining metals with other elements to improve their property. Like we did discuss about this. Are you able to recall this? Like remember electroplating? Yes. Yes, Chakrika?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
Okay, na? That is one
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Okay, let me check the answers of what students are answering for this one. For the second one, what you guys have answered. Question 3, you're saying it is. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Yes, Gauri, that is correct. Roni, pressure is defined as a physical force exerted on an object. Yeah, very good. Question 3, what you are answering, Abdullah, for this? Gauri, what you have answered for this? Yeah. Yes, that is correct. For question number 4, you have answered. Yeah, that is correct. See, Abdullah, in question number 3, question is saying pressure increases with the decrease in the area over which a force is applied.
Teacher,
Khadija,
actually, I was answering the last.
okay, no issues then. Khadija, what about you? You have answered your frictional force. That is correct. Pressure is calculated in pressure is basically the force applied on an object. Okay, that is correct. So the effect of shower is better than blunt objects since the area of contact is lesser than blunt objects and pressure increases with less area. Okay, that's good. Hmm. Question here, it's saying that define pressure. So some of you guys have defined it and some of you have explained how it is calculated. So, but some of you have not explained how it is calculated. So pressure is calculated by dividing the force with area. Pressure equals to force upon area. Okay, na? Khadija, particularly you pay attention to this. Okay. And plus it is calculated in PA, but rather than just writing PA, write Pascal. It is calculated in the unit Pascal. Okay, now in short, it is written as PA. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, no? That's it. And let me go through your answer as well, Chakrika. Okay. So they have a shiny appearance. Okay, they are malleable and ductile except sodium and potassium. Very good. They are good conductors of heat. They are
So there
solid.
was one more, right? Sodium, potassium, and there was another one.
Sodium, potassium. You have mercury, which is a metal, but it's in the liquid state.
Yes, sir, but I wrote it for the exception of a solid. But then for malleable and ductile, there was also another one.
Okay, just let me open the question once again.
Sure, sir.
Question here. First question is, which of the following is a characteristic property of metal? So you have written high density and malleability. Is that your answer? For the first one, you have written C. Yes, Chukrika. Like I'm only looking at the
Yes, sir.
answer right now. I can't look at the answer right now. I'm only looking at the question right now. For the
Yes,
first
sir.
one, you have written option number C, high density and malleability.
Yes, sir.
So metals are usually having high density and they are malleable. Explain
Yes,
the
sir.
difference between metals and non-metals in terms of their physical property. That's the second question. Let me see what you have answered for this. So for this, you have answered. They are like metals. They have a shiny appearance. They are malleable and ductile, exception sodium, potassium. Okay. So you think like there are some more exceptions to this. Okay, hold on for a minute. They are good conductors. Yeah, they are solid except exception is mercury. Okay. They are non-lustrous, brittle, poor conductor of heat and electricity. They are non-ductile and non-malleable. They are mostly gases. That is true. For the third question, you have answered it to be 1 minute. For the third question, you have answered it is True. Okay, let me go to the question once again. Or just I can switch the slide from here. All metals are solid at room temperature except for mercury, that is true. The process of combining metals with other elements to improve their property, that is electroplating. Okay, now
Yes, sir.
electroplating. That is one thing. Okay, now. Yeah. Repeat again. In which one you had it out?
So in the second one, explain the differences between metals and non-metals.
Hmm.
Basically, for metals, they are malleable and ductile, right? But then
Yes.
there were three exceptions, which were sodium, potassium. But then I don't remember the other one. So
Okay. We know that sodium and potassium, they are very soft.
yes, sir.
Like you can literally cut it with a knife. Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
I think there is one more. Like apart from sodium and potassium, there is one
Yes,
more
sir.
atom.
There was one more.
Yeah. I think it has to be either maybe cesium. We'll have to look into it. Okay, na? At the moment, I can't recall it. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Mhm. So we are going to continue with the chapter. Meanwhile, just let me tell you, like others have submitted their answers, and we could not discuss it in the previous class. Okay, na? So right now I'm looking at the answers. This is from Abdullah. Okay, Abdullah. So for the first one, you have written rice. That is correct. For the second one, you have written all of the above. Abdullah, if you're there, like you can go through your answer sheet. Okay, na?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. For the second one, you have written all of the above. No, it's only to increase the soil fertility. Okay. For the third, in this one, you have written nitrogen. No, the source of the nutrient, the main source of the nutrient for plant is soil. Okay, na? Nitrogen will not be correct. And here for question number 2, it's a biological control. Biological control is a method for controlling pests using biological agents instead of chemicals. Okay, now the process of preparing the soil for planting is known as. So what you have written in this? Sowing. No, sowing is the method of. What have you written for this? It's question number 3, no, which you have answered here. No, that is not correct. The process of preparing the soil for planting is known as soil preparation simply. Okay, na? In organic farming, dash fertilizers are preferred over synthetic fertilizers. For question number 4, what you have written? Chemical fertilizers. No. Organic
Sir,
farmer. Yeah,
it is not my answers.
it's not your answers. 1 minute. Whose answers are this? You have not shared the answers in fact, I think.
Yes, sir. I was going to say that answers to that team.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, okay. Mistakenly, they have named it like it's yours. Okay, I think it should be from Aleph. Aleph is not there in the class, no? No, today he's absent. Okay. So let me just quickly discuss your sheet, Gauri. Okay, now the first one you have answered rice, and then all of these. No, again same mistake. To increase soil fertility, that's the primary purpose of crop rotation. Okay. You have written soil. Okay, correct. You have written pesticide. No, pesticide contains chemicals. No, so how can it be a biological method? How can it be a like it is not using a biological agent now. Biological agent will refer to use of like we refer using bacteria or viruses or some form of insects to kill other pests. Getting it now? Pest could be ant, it could be an rodents like a rat, it could be termites, etc. So thereby we'll be preferring use of biological agents, and the method is called as biological control method. Okay. Then you have answer preparation of soil, organic harvesting. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, that one is also correct. For the first one, you have answered correctly. That is both B and C. It's rhizobium and then fermentation. Yeah, that is correct. False, true, false, and true, true. That is good. Distillation. Okay. The following is used to separate crude oil into its components. You have written distillation. That is correct. Okay. Then for the second one, what you have answered?
Sir, that one I don't know.
Primary component of natural gas is methane. Okay, now methane is the main component present in natural gas. Okay. What type of coal? Yeah, anthracite you have written. Then you have written for this one, which of the following is not a product derived from petroleum? So that is coal tar. Okay, now others are derived, and in like in the asphalt we discussed that in asphalt Bitumen is used in asphalt, so thereby that was not the appropriate answer. Coal tar is a product obtained from coal. Okay, now
Sir, I have written coal tar.
yeah, that is correct actually. Okay, now for others, like so for some of you who have answered, I was clearing that. Okay, now high pressure and high temperature. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. Combustion and flame, you have answered. Complete combustion, blue flame will be given off, good. And incomplete combustion, so carbon monoxide is given off. Combustion of magnesium, it's fuel plus oxygen, okay. But that should be like combustion of magnesium, as I said, that it will be releasing some energy, okay. Natural gas contains methane, fire triangle, okay. Yeah, that is correct. Your answer was 400 Pascal, that is also good. And for the last one, what you have answered? Texture, area of contact, irregularity of surface, okay. Yep, well done. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
let's continue with the chapter. By the way, today I got informed from the team like the class will be ending at 7:20. Okay, and like after 20 minutes, the class is going to end. And Khadija, you'll be continuing for the 10 minutes. Okay, now you will be remaining in the class, and others will leave after 20 minutes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we were doing this chapter. Let me just quickly revise whatever we have done so far. All right, now. So in the chapter so far, we did learn about concepts like adolescence and puberty. For those of you who were not present while this chapter was started, we were doing the chapter Age of Adolescence in the batch. Okay, no? Also, Abdullah, I suppose you have shared your syllabus with the team.
Yes, sir, I have shared.
You have, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you share it with me as well in the class? Because from the team, I haven't got it yet.
Yes, sir, I have shared with you you also.
Okay, okay. Okay, let's continue. So we learned about adolescence and puberty, like what these things are, what these terms mean. Okay, we learned about some basic concepts like different kind of organisms, they will be capable of reproduction only after a certain age or time period in their life. Okay, why is it so? Because when they reach a certain age in their life, hormone production starts to take place in their body, and thereby the hormones will make them capable of reproduction. We learned about adolescence. Adolescence was like a transformative phase in the life of an organism, where they will be transitioning from a child to an adult. Okay, na? And in this phase of transition, in this time period of transition, like that is between 10 to 18 years, the body will be going through several physical changes plus mental changes. Okay, na? So it's not like a one particular time period, but it's not like a particular time in their life, but it's rather a time period. It's a phase in the life. Okay, now where body goes through transition. Further, we learned about puberty. So puberty is the time period in the life when animals or the human beings they become capable of reproduction. So capable of reproduction, like they will be becoming capable of reproduction only when the reproductive organs would have become mature. So when the reproductive organs will be said to mature, it will be said to be mature when they will be releasing the male and female hormones. Male and female sex cells will be produced by it. In the case of the male body, the sperm cells will be produced. Okay, and the mature sperm cells will be produced. While in the case of the female body, mature ovum or the egg will be produced. Okay, now. So although we know that reproductive organs are present in complete set in the male and female since they are born. Okay, like all the parts are present since the time of birth, but they remain non-functional till they have attained the age of 10 to 12 years. Okay, na? Or in the case of girls, they have reached the age of 10 to 13, or in the case of boys, they have reached the age of 12 to 14. So by at that time, what will happen? The reproductive organ will become mature, and at that time, as I said, that hormones will be responsible for bringing about these changes. Getting it, guys? So there will be some hormones that will be produced in their body that will make their reproductive organs mature. In the case of the male child, the male hormone is, yes, which is the main male hormone that will be responsible for reproductive maturity? Is it the testosterone, progesterone, or agesterone?
Sir, can you repeat?
Which is the male hormone that will bring reproductive maturity in the male? Like it will be helping in the growth of the male reproductive organ. That is testosterone now. Yes, getting it, guys. And in the case of girls, it will be agesterone. Okay. Further, we learned the difference between adolescence and puberty. So adolescence is period of development between childhood and adulthood. Okay, na? So while the children will be in this age, the body will be going through several changes, like the shape, the size of the body changes, growth of hair, change in voice, the muscles will be developing. Apart from the physical changes, there will be emotional change also. The idea of the identity develops when they are in the age of adolescence. But particularly talking about puberty, it is also the physical process change of it is in this also physical changes will take place, but it is particularly talking about the development of sexual organs. Okay, now so where we see that two kind of changes will occur. There will be a primary sexual development of the primary sexual characteristics, which will be directly responsible for the birth of the child, while there will be secondary sexual characteristics also that does not have got a direct role to play in reproduction, like in the case of the girls, development of the breast; in the case of the boys, development of testis and penis. But development of sex organs like ovary and testis will start producing mature ovum and sperm cells, and that has got the main role to play in the process of reproduction. Getting the difference between primary characteristics and the secondary sexual characteristics or not? So we
Sir.
summed up the difference between these things. We learned about the changes in the body, like how the voice will be changing. All these things we have discussed. We learned that skin will be producing more sweat, will be sweating more, and will be more oil will be produced because the oil glands becomes more active. Okay, no? And we learned that particularly in the case of the teenage, na, their metabolic rate is more. Their metabolic rate is more. So they will be perspirating more. Perspiration, I mean to say, sweating will be more in them. Okay, no? So in fact, we learned about the background of this, like how does it basically occur? Okay, so metabolic rate basically refers to any kind of chemical reaction that is occurring inside the body that is called as a metabolic process. Whether it be digestion, whether it be respiration, whether it be any kind of reaction that is going on inside your body, that will be called as a metabolic reaction. So the adults, their body is very healthy as compared to an old person. So the rate of metabolism will be high, because of which the energy demand will be high, and sufficient amount of oxygen will be required by the body. Getting it now? So for example, adults would be very physically, they will be very active. So when we are, for example, running, so after running, we feel after running, while we are running or we are doing some intense workout, why sweating increases? Can you guys answer this? Why sweating increases? What is the main reason behind that? Yes.
If the sebaceous glands release more sweat than usual.
Exactly, but the main reason is that the rate of respiration increases now. The rate of respiration is going to increase, and if the rate of respiration is going to increase, more water will be produced in the body. Getting my point? And hence sweating will be more. So we learned about this. Okay, now further we learned about the glands in the body as well. So there are two kind of glands in the human body. Getting it, everyone? So they are endocrine and exocrine gland, which we learned about. So in the case of the endocrine gland, what we had learned in the previous classes, that these are the glands that will be secreting their secretions inside the body. But in the case of exocrine gland, for example, sweat gland is a gland which secretes the sweat. And where does the sweat come? It comes on the body surface. Now it comes outside the skin. There are so many tiny pores present on the skin from which the sweat will be coming. Getting it, everyone? We also had the examples, some other examples like this. If you guys can recall this, we had the examples of saliva coming from the salivary gland. It comes on the surface of a it comes into the mouth, right? Mammary gland produces milk. Getting it? Liver produces bile juice. All these are the examples of the exocrine gland. Tear gland is there, and tears comes out of the tear gland. So the exocrine gland, they will be secreting the secretions through a tube-like structure to the surface of the body. Getting all of you what I'm trying to say here? Gauri,
So,
Khadija, yes.
Yes, sir.
so does adrenal gland play a role in tears?
Adrenal gland plays roles in tears.
Yes, sir. Does it?
No, I don't think so. It has got a direct role to play in tears. Okay, no? Because tear is produced by the tear gland. Okay.
Yes, sir. Like adrenal is the main cause for most of the feelings. So
Yeah, like adrenal gland will be secreting adrenaline in several situations. One of the situation is that when a person is in a stressful situation. Okay, no? So when we are in a stressful situation, thereby the the message will be sent to the brain. Okay, the message will be sent to the different organs, particularly it will be sent to the heart. So thereby the heartbeat increases whenever you are in a stressful situation. Getting it now? Or someone has done a very intense physical workout. Okay, or someone is encountering a very threatening situation. There's a situation of emergency. So in that situation, your body needs rapid amount of energy is required. Good amount, a very good amount of energy is required by the body. Getting it now? So the adrenal gland will be secreting adrenaline, okay, now, which is also called as fight or flight hormone. Okay, suppose you have seen you hear a certain loud noise. Say for example, you guys are comfortably sitting in your room right now and having this class. Let's say there's a huge thunderstorm. There's a huge lightning sound. So your heartbeat might increase. Getting it what I'm trying to say? Or someone is let's say for example, someone sees a very dangerous kind of some organism. Okay, so your heartbeat will be increasing. So those are the triggering situations in which it will be secreted. Okay, so hope that clears the doubt. Okay, no? But that it does not have a direct role to play. Indirectly, it will be playing some role in the secretion of tear, but not doesn't have a direct role. Okay. So what are we seeing that? Remember in the beginning we learned that different changes in the body are brought about by hormones. Okay. So hormones are produced by the glands, and there are two types of glands. You have the exocrine and the endocrine gland, which I was saying. Okay. So hormones are the chemical substances that will be coordinating different functions in your body by carrying the messages throughout the body, throughout the organs, muscles, and different tissues in the body. So they kind of acts as a chemical messenger. Getting what I'm trying to say? Right? Take for example what we learned about the adrenal gland. It will be producing a hormone by the name adrenaline hormone. Where does it go? Directly, first of all, it will be going to the heart and will be increasing the heartbeat. So when the heartbeat will increase, so thereby the supply of blood will increase now. Plus, it will be increasing the supply of oxygen to different cells in the body. So isn't this acting as a messenger? Isn't this acting as a messenger? You are in a situation of emergency. Someone is in a situation of emergency. So the adrenal gland will be sending this chemical messenger to the heart, and the message will be to increase the supply of blood and increase the supply of oxygen to different cells in the body, so that body can become more active. Getting it, everyone? How it is acting as a chemical messenger?
Yes,
Khadija,
sir.
Khadija, you getting it? Chakrika, Alif, Abdullah, Roni, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is the point here. Okay, now. Plus, we have another kind of gland like endocrine gland. For example, we know that the pancreas will be secreting insulin. But does the insulin come onto the surface of the skin? No. Getting it? It goes directly into the blood now. Or the adrenal gland, which we have been learning about, it secretes adrenaline. Where does it go? It directly goes into the blood. It does not comes onto the surface of the skin. So there are another kind of gland by the name of endocrine gland. Endo means inside. Okay, na? So they will be passing this secretion directly into the blood. Okay, and plus they don't have any tube-like structures, just like you have seen in the case of the sweat gland. See, everyone can see this tube-like structure. Can you guys see this tube-like structure? Yeah, getting it? This is the sweat gland here. These are the sweat gland here, and this tube-like structure is why this tube-like structure? Sweat is coming. Okay, na? So the tube-like structures will be present in the case of the exocrine gland, but not in the case of the endocrine gland. That is one thing which we have learned. Further, we also learned about the pituitary gland. So pituitary gland, our most of the discussion in this class will be related about the endocrine gland only. Getting it now? Because these exocrine glands, they are not bringing about any major changes in the body. Getting what I'm trying to say now? Like the development of the sexual organs or the increased activity in the body, all of these are brought about by the endocrine glands, because the endocrine glands, their main secretion is hormone. Their main secretion is hormone. Okay, now while in the exocrine glands, you won't be seeing hormones as the main secretion. Like the tears, do they have any hormone in them? No. Getting it now? Getting it, everyone? Or the bile or the milk, they don't have any hormones in them. Okay. Talking about the pituitary gland, we learned that it's called as the master gland in the body. The pituitary gland, which is present in the brain, it is called as the master gland in the body. Plus, they are present in the body and they will be controlling the production of hormones by all the glands present in the body. So, the pituitary gland that is present inside the brain, it will be controlling how much of adrenaline has to be secreted, how much of ovum or sperm, or how much of insulin and other hormones has to be secreted. So it is called as the master gland because it will be controlling secretions of all other endocrine glands. Getting it what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
So that's the pituitary gland becomes very important. Okay, no? So that is one thing. Okay. Further, we learned about how the role, how the hormones should be playing an important role in initiating the reproduction. Okay, like we learned that hormones that will be released from the pituitary gland, it will be stimulating the testes and ovaries. Like the pituitary gland, it will be also releasing some hormone now, isn't it? And the hormones that will be released by the pituitary gland, it will be stimulating the ovaries and testes to produce their hormones. What it will do? It will stimulate testes and ovaries to release their hormones, namely testosterone in male and estrogen in female. Okay. Further, what is going to happen? Now, these hormones will be released into the blood and they are going to now reach the target site. Are going to now reach the target site. Further, once they have reached the target site, so thereby some changes will be seen in the body. Some changes will be observed in the body. Getting it, everyone, what I'm trying to say here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, like for example, take the case of this adrenal gland also. What is the target side of the adrenal gland? The target side of the adrenal gland is heart, no? Chakrika, Gauri, Khadija, everyone, Abdullah. The
Yes.
target side of the adrenal gland is the heart. Okay, no? Similarly, the target side of the testosterone and ovary would be the male and female reproductive organs. Okay, where the changes will be brought. We learned about the reproductive phase of life in humans. In the case of females, particularly, we learned that it will be starting at the age of puberty and will be lasting till the age of 45 to 50. The puberty begins in the woman by the age of 10 to 12. At the puberty, the female reproductive primary organ of the female reproductive organ, that is ovary, will produce ova or ovum. Every month, about 28 to 30 days, one ovum is released from one of the ovary. So we did learn about that when the ovum will be released, so the wall of the uterus, it thickens so that in case if the fertilization takes place, So thereby it will be holding that it will be like the if the in case of the fertilization takes place, so the fertilized egg would be embedded in the wall of the uterus, and from there it will be receiving nutrition. But if the fertilization does not occur, the lining will be shedding. Okay, na? The zygote which had become embryo by now will die. I mean to say, if the fertilization has not occurred, so the not the zygote, basically ovum, it will die. Along with that, the thick lining which has developed, that will also basically fall off, and it will come off in the form of the blood, and that is called as menstruation. Because of this, bleeding occurs. Also, it is called as menstruation. And by the age of 10 to 12, the first menstruation or the first bleeding will occur, and that is called as menarche. By the age of 45 to 50, it stops, that is called as menopause. Further, we learned about the determination of the sex of the baby also. So which parent is responsible for the gender of the baby? Is it the male parent or is it the female parent? What do you guys think?
Sir, male.
Male parent.
Exactly. Alif, why you are joining so late in the class? Try to join the class on given time.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we did learn about several important things in this, that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes present in each and every cell of the human body. Okay, except for the sperm and the ovum. Okay. So what we learned, that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes in the human body. Out of the 23 pair of chromosomes, 22 pairs of chromosomes, they look same to each other. Whether it be in the male and female, they will be similar to each other. Chromosomes, for those of you who are not getting it, let me tell you, when you will be looking at the nucleus and when you will be looking at the structure of the nucleus, okay, na? Inside the nucleus, you will find there will be several thread-like structures. The red linings that you see, these are the chromosomes, I mean to say. These thread-like structures that you see, they are called as chromosomes. And if you were to count them, the total number of chromosomes will be 46, or in short, we call this as pairs. In pairs, it will be 23 pairs. This is how it will be looking like. Getting it, everyone? That's the structure of a chromosome. Okay. Okay, so there are 46 chromosomes. Out of 46 chromosomes now, 22 pairs, or it basically means 44. So 44 of them are same. They look same. Whether you look at the cell of a male or a female, all of them will be same. So they are called as autosomes. But one pair will be the sex hormones. So they will be either X or Y chromosome. Getting it, everyone, what I'm trying to say here? And it will be different in the male and female. Okay. So in the case of female sex cells, we have learned that the uh, the two chromosomes which they have now, they are exact copies of X chromosome. While in the case of male, we have learned one of them is X, another one is Y. Have a look at this. In the case of male, one chromosome is X, another one is Y. So what I mean to say here, all the 44 chromosomes were same. Getting it now? But this 45th and 46th chromosomes, they are X and Y. In the case of mother, the 45th and the 46th chromosome is X and X. Both of them are same. Okay. Further, we learned that the since mother has the same type of chromosome, that is X and X, so egg will the egg will only have X chromosome in it. Getting it up? But the father has XY chromosome both. So sperm will either be having X chromosome or either it can have the Y chromosome. Okay. So during the process of fertilization, if the sperm bearing the X chromosome were to fuse with the egg, so zygote will be having XX chromosome. And mother also has the XX chromosome, so the baby will be female. But if the sperm that is going to fertilize the womb, if that contains Y chromosome in it, so thereby when it will be fusing with the egg, the zygote that will be formed will be having the XY chromosome, so thereby it will be a male baby. Is that clear to everyone? That is one thing. Okay, now? So we have learned till here, we have learned in the class, and there are a few important topics that is left to be discussed. We'll be learning about uh, the hormones other than the sex hormones, like we'll be learning about the thyroid gland. You might have seen that many peoples would be suffering from the goiter, right now. Why do they suffer from goiter? Because of the deficiency of
Thyroxine.
no deficiency of which mineral I'm asking about actually. Deficiency of thyroxine, that is also true, but talking about the mineral, it's the iodine. Okay, na? So when iodine is lacking in the diet, so you'll see that the neck will be swelling in some people. That is called as goiter. So we are going to learn about thyroxine and other glands, other hormones like pancreatic juice, okay, now, and adrenal gland also in the next class. That's all for today. We continue from the next class, and in the next class, this chapter will be finished. But in the next class again, in the first part of the class, we'll be doing questions from the previous chapters. All right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Khadija, you will be staying and others can leave. Okay. Okay, hold on for a minute. You certainly given half the test for the chapter reproduction, right, Khadija?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Let me open your sheet and then we're going to continue our discussion. Okay. By the way, Khadija, I think we had already discussed this test paper, no? Reproduction, we have already discussed that, no?
I think so. Yes, we have.
Yeah, we have discussed it actually. Okay, no? So they might have missed this. Actually, I informed them that both the chapters have been discussed. Okay. Anyways, I pointed out your mistake in the paper. Like basically, it was from the chapter from question number 22. Okay. So the order of the stages of a silkworm was incorrect there. First, there's a egg, then from egg caterpillar develops, then pupa, then silk moth. Okay, now. Nonetheless, we have some time. Do let me know what would you like to discuss in this time. You're having any doubts from any previous chapter? Yes, Khadija, you have any questions from any topic? Okay, take your
I
time.
don't actually have any doubts.
Okay, how about we do some questions then? Okay,
Okay.
we have just 1 minute. Okay, answer the following questions to me. Do tell me, you have the chapter conservation of plants and animals, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you tell me what are the consequences of deforestation?
Natural causes of deforestation are desertification, droughts,
Okay,
and it leads to a disruption in the water cycle.
very good. It disrupts the water cycle. Okay, no? And
I'm not sure.
like moments ago, you said that it can lead to desertification, right? Think of some more answers. Think of some more consequences of this. Desertification, it will disrupt the water cycle. Good.
Economical loss.
Yeah, exactly. So there will be economic loss as well because we get so many resources from the forest now. Like we get rubber, latex, we get resin from the forest, we get medicinal plants, timber, etc. Further, it will increase the level of carbon dioxide in the air now, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Increase in carbon dioxide level, and that will further lead to
Global warming.
exactly global warming. It will increase. Okay, now there are a few other consequences of this also. What about the water table? The underground water level, that will also decrease, isn't it?
Yes,
Because
sir.
as we know that plants absorb underground water through their roots and they release it into the atmosphere in the form of water vapor during the process of transpiration. And this water vapor further goes up and forms cloud and helps in bringing the rain. Further, the rainwater, it gets percolated into the ground and then it is stored as underground water. So deforestation, it means there will be fewer trees. So if there are fewer trees or no trees, there will be less rainfall. If there is less rainfall, so there will be no percolation or very less percolation of water into the ground now. So that's how the underground level will be decreasing. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
So decrease in groundwater level. And can it bring flood? Yeah, Khadija, can it bring flood?
Yes, it can.
How it can bring flood?
I don't remember exactly how, but I know that it does.
Okay, okay, let's look at the fundamental things. What we know that uh, water holding capacity of the soil will be increasing if there are more plants now. Take two pieces of lands, one in which there is no plant, another one in which there are different plants are there in one of the land. In which one the absorption of water will be more? The one in which plants are present and the another one in which there are no plants. In which one the water holding capacity of the soil will be more?
Uh,
Uh,
the one with plants.
exactly, no? Because the roots of the plants will be holding the water. Okay, it will be holding on to the water. So water holding capacity of the soil will be decreasing if there is no if there is deforestation now. Getting it now? That is one thing. So if there are no trees, if there is no forest, so thereby the movement of water from the soil surface into the ground will be reduced. Which what does it mean? It means that the water is no longer being absorbed like earlier it was being absorbed. Okay, no, that is one thing. So the water holding capacity of the soil will be decreasing due to deforestation, and the movement of the water from the soil surface into the ground, that is also reduced. Getting it now? And that will further lead to flooding. Okay. So deforestation, by the way, deforestation also reduces rainfall. Like on one hand, it is reducing rainfall, but on the other hand, it is leading to flood also. Getting it? Like on one hand, it is reducing the rainfall, but on other hand, it is leading to flood as well.
Sir,
Okay, then
how does it reduce rainfall?
like moments ago, what we learned that we know that plants would be absorbing the underground water through their root. I mean to say what it does. Like we have learned that the roots of the plants would be absorbing the water, right? And further, that water is going to percolate into the underground also. See that these are the plants. Okay, so the roots of the plants, they are going to absorb the water. The water which are going, it is being absorbed. All right. So it is absorbed plus it percolates in the soil also now. Percolation, you understand what is percolation? Yes.
No, sir.
Like percolation is basically like we basically explain it is like how the water will be uh, passing through the soil. Getting it now? Percolation is basically the passing of the water through the soil. That's what the percolation is. Okay, now. So if there are plants in the land, so the percolation of the water will be more. Okay, now that is one thing. If the percolation is more, so there will be more water in the underground now. There will be more water in the underground. Okay. But if there are no plants, if I have cut down the plant, So thereby the rate of percolation decreases. Percolation, like it's basically the seeping of the water into the ground. Okay, now like if there is rainfall in a forest or in an area where there is an open soil, so after a few time after a few minutes we see that there is no water on the soil. But so where did that water went to? Where does the water in the forest go when there is a rainfall? Like,
Soil.
getting it now? So it basically it seeps into the ground, and that is percolation. So if there is no plant, the rate of percolation decreases. So percolation decreases. Keep these facts in mind. Okay. Further, we are seeing that the same water that is seeping into the soil now, that is going into the soil, that water is being absorbed by the plant during the process of transpiration. We know due to the process of transpiration, what happens? Due to the sun's heat, water evaporates. Due to the sunlight, the water will be evaporating from the surface of the leaf. How exactly? We know that there are tiny pores called as stomata present on the leaf, from where the water will be evaporated in the form of water vapor. Getting it now? In the form of water vapor, it gets evaporated. Okay. So this continuous evaporation of water from the leaves, it generates a suction pull. So the roots will be absorbing the water from the ground. Further, this water vapor will be helping in the water cycle. It will help in the formation of clouds and will bring rain now. Getting it? But if there is no forest, right now, so the rainwater that will be getting percolated into the ground, okay, now it will no longer be reabsorbed by the plant, and hence there will be less formation of clouds now. Getting it? So thereby it will be reducing the rainfall. Getting my point? What I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
That is the case. Further, when there will be a flood, so usually if there is a forest, we see that most of the water of the flood will be absorbed by the forest, will be absorbed by the soil in the forest. But if there is no forest, there are no trees, so thereby that water will no longer be absorbed by the soil readily as earlier it was. Okay, now the rate of absorption will be less because there are no roots in the